Witnessing the death of his Jedi father at the hands of the Sith, Padawan Cade Skywalker turned away from his training, becoming a pirate and a bounty hunter. As captain of the Minok, Cade survived on the fringes of the galaxy along with crew members Jariah Sin and Delia Blue. That is, until the trip helped rescue the daughter of deposed Emperor Rowan Fel from the clutches of Overlord Darth Krayt and his legion of Sith. Facing the same Sith who killed his father, Cade took up a lightsaber for the first time in years. When the battle was over, Cade disappeared, going into hiding on Ossus, the place where he once studied the ways of the Jedi. Alright folks, we're finally back with Star Wars Legacy, and we are finally back with Cade Skywalker. He's high on death sticks, because of course he is. And here he sees Mara Jade and Anakin, who turns into Darth Vader. And I think this is brought on from the Force mixed with the death sticks. He's kind of hallucinating because he touched the dark side, because they're talking to him about wielding the dark side and what that does to someone. And we do get this cool moment from Anakin. You know so much. You understand so little about the Force, about power. I know power. And he becomes Darth Vader. They have a quick little duel, and I do think in these panels Darth Vader looks a bit weird, like the way he's drawn doesn't look right. But this hallucination is essentially warning him like, hey, if you wield the dark side and you're controlled by your fear and anger, like you could end up suffering a lot, like Anakin did. So yeah, he was high as hell hallucinating on the ground, and then he's found by a Jedi who helps him recover. Master Kruick? That's how I'm pronouncing it. I don't really know how these names are supposed to be said. That's just what I'm going to call him. And I love this panel of Cade here. This looks like a guy who was just high on death sticks. But he was actually followed here by Master Val and Shadow. Cade had left them on the wheel and then came here, and they kind of just figured this was where he was going to go. And we get to catch up with Sin and Blue, and they're immediately handed over to the Imperials. And the last we see them here is they're being interrogated by the Imperials for information on Cade's whereabouts. The sad thing is, they don't even really need to do this, because by the end of the story, Cade is going to Coruscant. And we jump ahead 2 weeks, and Cade wanted to complete his Jedi training, so the past 2 weeks he's been working with Shadow and Master Val to hone his skills. You have Kruick and Val discussing Cade, the fact that he touches the dark side, the fact that it's a part of him, that he is so willing to wield it, and how he might end up being a new Vader. And Val says, well, if we don't help him out, he might be swayed by the Sith and fall to the dark side. And as Cade and Shadow are training, they fall through the ground and are immediately attacked by the Yuuzhan Vong. And the place they fall through into is actually full of Jedi relics and artifacts that the Yuuzhan Vong gathered and protected from scavengers and Imperials or whoever might want them. And this leads into the second part of the story, where the Vong and the Jedi have a little bit of a scuffle, but it doesn't last very long. We're introduced to a character called Ni Rin, who is this female Vong. And so the backstory for this character and the Jedi were that they were working together on a project on Ossus. And they were off-world when the Sith attacked, and when they returned, everyone was dead. And the Vong gave Cade's father a Jedi burial. And they say, within the flames, his body disappeared, so he became one with the Force, is what I'm taking from that. Because I don't know if they would include that line if they just meant he was burning in the pyre. And since Cade is the son of Cole, the Vong want to hand over the artifacts to him because they see him as sort of the continuation of that Jedi legacy. Legacy? Tradition? I call it Karkin slavery. Guardians of peace and justice? Sure. Brave, honorable Jedi, trying to police a Karkin galaxy that keeps turning on them. Blast your traditions. I'm not going to be a slave to them. I'm not going to be haunted by them. None of you can see the truth, even when it's got a fang grip on your nose. The Jedi's time is over and gone. And this is your wisdom, is it, Cade Skywalker? The Jedi holocrons are not about tradition. They are pathways to the lives, to the knowledge and the wisdom of Jedi from the past. It is not the Jedi who are haunted slaves, apprentice. It is you. And then we have Master Val and Cade fight each other, and while this is going on, they're arguing about why his father died, why neither of them are not actually at fault. That's what Val is trying to get across to Cade, which is what he is clearly holding on to this whole time. He's blaming himself, and it's also highlighting some flaws in Cade's character. I don't accept it. I don't care if that's the Jedi way. I don't take what is given, I take what I want. I make my own way, and I don't ask anyone's permission. So you have replaced Coruscant as the center of the galaxy. Everything revolves around you, does it, Cade? Your insecurity, your selfishness, your intense anger with everything. The situation, the Sith, your father, me, That anger made you call on the dark side when you healed me. How dare I die on you? It is a sight of your fear. Don't die. Don't leave me alone. As your father did. That fear made you angrier with your father than with me. He did die. And there was nothing you could do about it. You were left with your fears. Fear of failure. Fear of death. Fear of your own anger. You imposed your own will on the Force. That is a dark side way. You could have asked me, or Shadow, or even the Imperial Knights to help you save the princess, to guide you, to work with you in the light side. But your ego, your fear, your anger demanded you do it yourself. Alone a Jedi is strong, but together we are stronger. This new breed of Sith see that and try to imitate it. You, however, insist on being alone. Your fear, your anger demands it and makes you weak. Really great dialogue, and it kind of snaps Cade out of his sort of like depressive funk that he's in, and helps him understand that his father's sacrifice was meaningful because everyone else got to live, all the younglings and these other Jedi and Cade. And it leads to Cade meditating and thinking back on what happens right after the Sith attacked Ossus, where he's taken aboard the pirate vessel and Sin is the one who comes to his defense and actually saves his life because he senses they are sort of like kindred spirits. And also in the background there is a Twi'lek baddie, and we need to keep a count of those. There's at least 3 so far, I think. And then we have this dialogue from Rav. Jedi are born with nothing, they die with nothing. All the mighty Jedi here are dead. Where is their ally the Force now? Then Cade gets a flash of the Bothan Jedi that he handed over to the Sith, and it turns into Crate, and then he sees Luke Skywalker again. Listen to me this time, Cade. This is not to remind you of your legacy, or of your destiny, or of what you may owe the Jedi. This is about one Jedi, Hosk Trayless, who you surrendered to the enemy. The Sith torture him in the temple on Coruscant. That's your doing, Cade. This is about your responsibility for what you yourself have done. This lies on you, and it's up to you to make it right. So Cade decides he's going to Coruscant to save the Jedi, and I feel like this isn't going to end well for him. You know, it's admirable, but I feel like he's probably going to end up joining the Sith. Like, the last thing he needs to do is be around those people at this point. He's not strong enough to resist the pull to the dark side, in my opinion. Not yet. He ends up getting his father's lightsaber, actually. The crystal from within was charred from the intensity of the battle. I added a lambent crystal of my own shaping. So now he has a lightsaber with a Vong crystal inside, which is kind of interesting. And he's also given another gift, R2-D2, going with Cade to Coruscant. And I can't imagine this is going to end well for either of them. And then finally we have this conversation between Kruak and Shadow. Master Kruak, Cade and I were apprentices together. Sometimes one apprentice will know another better than his own master does. The attack on Ossus didn't change Cade. He was always impatient and testing boundaries. If Cade hadn't been a Skywalker, he would have been asked to leave. I've been present at 2 of Cade's healings. He touched the dark side to do it. More than that, he wasn't simply open to the Force, he twisted it to his will. That is something a Sith does. Why then do you agree to aid Master Sazin in training Cade? My own feelings, my own perspective are not infallible. I deeply respect Master Sazin. His vision may be the true one. And Cade is my friend. If he ever goes completely over to the dark side, I will end him. And that's the end of this chapter. I do respect Shadow for saying that if Cade joins the dark side, he'll kill him, but I think that is absolutely foreshadowing for that not happening. And Cade might actually end up killing him, I'm not sure. And you know, I'm loving this setting, I'm loving the time period. I'm really liking these characters. Cade, especially as a protagonist, is really interesting. I'm excited to see where his story goes, and I hope you guys stick around for that. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.